Howdy, motherfuckers, and welcome to another exciting new episode of Unfucking Censored with me, your host, Blake Hutchison. Yes, that is my real name, because no, although I have recently been called a complaining-ass pussy by someone on YouTube who claims his name is Rodney Jean-Baptiste, maybe it's Jean-Baptiste. I don't know, there's a lot of people on Facebook by that name, so, I'm working into which one it is, if that's his or her real name. But before I get to that segment of the show, because I am totally going to make lemons out of lemonade out of people trash-talking anything I say, I learned this little trick from the Dana show, from Dana Lash, or is it Lash? I don't know. Sometimes I hear A's and E's funny. But yes, I listen to both conservative and progressive radio, because as someone who is in the middle of the road politically, obviously I lean far left on things like children's rights. My opposition to spanking children is a dead giveaway of that, and I lean to the right on things like gun control, and I really am in favor of limited government for the most part. Not so much limited government as efficient government, which kind of puts me a little slightly less right than the Republican Party, but definitely not to the left toward the Democratic Party. And yes, I call it the Democratic Party, not the Democrat Party like Rush Limbaugh likes to call it, or a lot of other people on the right. I think Neil Bortz likes to call it that too. Don't quote me. I don't really listen to him because he's not on when it's convenient for me to listen to him, and he kind of, I don't know, there's some things I've heard him say they really question, like going into Starbucks and ordering a large, refusing to call it a venti. It's like, big fucking deal, pal. I used to work retail. Whatever. If they call it a venti, don't confuse the poor sap who's making $8.10 an hour, the current minimum wage in my home state of Ohio, United States of America. But it's been almost 2 months since there's been a new episode of Uncensored, and no, I am not using the new camera on this. I opted to do a mobile video tonight just because I'm under a major deadline, and my paycheck job, I'm working 60 hours this week. I just accept my apologies, people, and I hate apologies with excuses. I hate apologies with the word but in them, but I have a legitimate excuse here, and I'm still kind of learning how to use the DSLR camera, and it's not that this show's entirely about quality, but in terms of getting the episode out by the promised deadline, which actually turned out being later than the initially stated deadline because there was a typo. By the way, I am not responsible for typographical errors ever, just like stores aren't when they post wrong prices in their flyers, but usually will honor them if somebody's enough of an asshole. Okay, I'm rambling. So, it's a new year. Whether you love him or hate him, we have a new president. I know there are people who are saying, not my president, and people who are saying, yes, he is your president, get over it. Hey, freedom of speech, I'm all for it. If you love Trump, feel free to be honest that you love the job that he's doing so far. If you hate the job that he's doing so far, be honest about that. I will never criticize you for your view on any particular politician, at least not going forward. I may have in the past when I was younger. But I've come to the reality that most politicians are equally full of shit, no matter which party they're in, or who they are, or what they promise in their campaigns. Personally, I've been alive since Jimmy Carter was president, and no president in my lifetime, at least in my own personal opinion, take that for whatever you think it's worth, has entirely lived up to their campaign promises. I do kind of hold the view that some have been better than others about it, but it doesn't really come down to party so much as I don't vote for parties. I vote for people. I haven't officially, I did vote in a partisan election in 2016. I won't say which one. If you really want to know, it's public information. Though it was more about trying to vote somebody out of a primary than actually supporting a candidate, because the guy I really wanted to be president, Rand Paul, by the way, mainly because he's a non-spanker and I'm anti-spanking. There is a difference between non-spanker and anti-spanking. I will explain that in a future episode. I don't have time for this one. I will get to it. That's probably half an episode, if not more. Trust me, a guy who's for children's rights is going to get to that at some point. Yes, a guy with children's rights who has no kids, but if you don't like it, you don't have to watch my fucking show, and you can kiss my big walrus ass. I'll get to that later, too, because somebody who thought they were trolling me, and yes, I know the camera's a little shaky today. This is going to be one of those hastily made episodes, which kind of give the show either some charm or lead some people to call it shameless and call me a complaining ass pussy. Like the person who I'm getting to, who's giving me material for about half an episode, because, by the way, you are totally welcome. You are totally entitled to your opinion of me, my show, or anything I say or ever stand up for, regardless of whether you love it, hate it, love me, hate me, or just want to fucking hear what the fuck I'm going to fucking say next. We got to get a few fucks in here because it's uncensored, people. And unlike terrestrial radio, sorry, Dana Lesh, I can cuss as much as I fucking want. Just like Howard fucking Stern. Gee, I just mentioned a conservative and a progressive there in the same sentence. Actually, I'm not sure Howard Stern's really so much of a progressive as maybe more of a pragmatist, or maybe somebody like me who is kind of in the middle and has one view that's really, really far left and a bunch of others that are kind of slightly to the right, but most of them are center field. Yeah, I'm the asshole in the freeway who's taking his half out of the middle because I can't really decide whether I want the right or the left. Not really. You should always, at least in countries with right-hand traffic like the one I live in, you should always drive on the right on a freeway unless you're passing somebody. That left lane is for passing only, motherfuckers. If you don't like it, kiss my big walrus ass. Now, I'm going to get to why I'm going to capitalize on this comment. And that is going to require, in a moment, switching to having the view on my computer to save editing time. Disclaimer, I'm going to have a shot of a YouTube comment, which is used. I'm only using this for purposes of commentary, which I believe falls under the Fair Use Act. But fair use officially can only be truly defined in a court. So unless YouTube takes me to court, I think I'm okay. And they probably won't because, again, I'm only going to be using parodying some copyrighted material for purposes of comment using a small amount. So we'll see. One moment. Okay, so I got this response to a video that I made as part of a previous episode of Uncensored. It's my commentary response to Chelo using his goat beating video. And yeah, I'm getting to where I can comment on my own videos for future videos, which, by the way, those of you who are into video marketing, this is a very good art to learn. So here's a comment from Rodney Jean-Baptiste. I think it's Jean-Baptiste. This was, it says 1 day ago now. It's currently February 25th, 2017. So this was made on February 24th, 2017. Quote, "Dude, y'all some complaining ass pussies. Y'all cry and complain for dumb shit. If that bothered your bitch ass that much, why don't you cry and complain to the slaughterhouse? That goat ass whooping was funny as shit. Your big walrus ass needs to sit down, you fucking infidel." Let me state here and now, I live in a country where the First Amendment of our Constitution grants people the right to free speech. I don't even know if this person is in America, but I'm all for expanding free speech, which, yes, is a two-way street, to everybody, regardless of how they feel. This is probably somewhere I kind of fall conservative on, because Dana Lash says the same thing. Again, I don't know if it's Lesh or Lash. I hear A sounds and E sounds kind of funny sometimes, and the name's spelled Loesch. Look up the Dana show, you'll find her. There's things I disagree with her about. There's things I agree with her about. And I'm not promoting her directly. I'm just saying I listen to her show once in a while. But she'll say, feel free to say anything about me that you want. Especially if, like this prick, I don't think she would use the kind of language that I use on Uncensored. Maybe, but she tries to avoid using it. And I know she can't say some of the words I've said on Uncensored. I'm only really paraphrasing her here. I'm not promoting her show or opposing it. I'm just saying this is somewhere we kind of have some common ground. If you're gonna challenge anything I say, feel free, especially if you have the balls to use your real name, or at least a pseudonym that looks like a real name, instead of being the complaining ass pussy you accuse me of being, while hiding behind an obviously fake screen name. Now, whoever this Rodney fucker is, or whatever his or her real name is, if it's something other than Rodney Jean-Baptiste, yeah, if that's your real name, I commend you for using your free speech and having the balls to use your real name. If that is not your real name, then I guess you're just a complaining ass pussy like me, or like you claim me to be, except that unlike me, you don't have the balls to use your real name. Which I can prove. I have an IMDb listing, motherfuckers. You can verify everything about me. Just short of my social security number, which I'm not going to give on a YouTube video, obviously. Fuck you. If you really want me to. But now I'm going to get into my response, which kind of requires me to face the camera toward my response. And this is subject to change. If you get on this video, it may be different by the time you see it, because I've edited it a couple times. You have the right to edit your responses to anything. YouTube is the epitome of free speech. You can say whatever the fuck you want, and then you can edit it mercilessly until it looks so measured and articulated that even some dumb fuck hick seed like me from Logan County, Ohio. Well, okay, I was born in Columbus, but I grew up in Logan County and have lived in Logan County most of my life. That may change eventually. I'm not saying I will stay in the area. I'm not saying I won't stay in the area at this time. There's parts of me that kind of want to experience other places too. Further away than Toledo. But now I'm going to go to my response, which, take it for whatever you want. I'm going to narrate as I read from it. Here we go. So here's the response as it was written on February 25th at 1:21 a.m. This is edited from the actual original. But it's YouTube. You can edit things. So my response to that was, apparently we disagree when it comes to whether or not being cruel to a goat is funny, which is totally fine. You're expressing your right to freedom of speech. Apparently you support animal cruelty because you stated, and I quote you directly, Rod, that goat ass whooping was funny as shit. Apparently you also support bullying people because of their current appearance. Never mind that they may be working on changing it. I acknowledge I'm overweight, as you pointed out with your comment implying I have a big walrus ass. Actually, it's my gut that's bigger than my ass, but nice try, and kudos for expressing your free speech as you see fit. I actually commend you for being free with your speech. I much prefer an honest asshole hater like you to some deceitful twat who is nice to my face but keeps calling me names behind my back. I like to know who the bullies are in this world. Okay, I'm going to switch back to me and read the rest of it and this will all be up on the Sansevieria.net site or somewhere else, not necessarily there. I'm going to continue with myself reading the rest from, I like to know who the bullies are in this world. This complaining ass pussy, as I believe you also called me, wants to know who to credit when given a shitload of free content for the show that will garner me more AdSense revenue that I won't fucking share. See, here's the thing. I'm a YouTube partner. I'm going to capitalize off of you, get a shit ton more followers, perhaps 1 or 2 for each pound my big walrus ass, as you so rudely put it, registers on the scale. I'm going to read my response as it was written and edited as of February 25th, 2017 at 1:24 in the AM Eastern U.S. time. This is subject to change. This text will be visible somewhere and archived, as I will be quoting it now. And I will give you a quick screenshot. But here we go. Apparently, we disagree when it comes to whether or not being cruel to a goat is funny, which is totally fine. You're expressing your right to freedom of speech. Apparently, you support animal cruelty because you stated, and I quote you directly, Rod, that goat ass whooping was funny as shit. Apparently, you also support bullying people because of their current appearance. Never mind that they may be working on changing it. I acknowledge I'm overweight, as you pointed out with your comment implying I have a big walrus ass. Big walrus ass. Actually, it's my gut that's bigger than my ass, but nice try, and kudos for expressing your free speech as you see fit. I actually commend you for being free with your speech. I much prefer an honest asshole hater like you to some deceitful twat who is nice to my face but calls me names behind my back. I like to know who the bullies are in this world. This complaining ass pussy, as I believe you also called me, wants to know who to credit when given a shitload of free content for the show that will garner me more AdSense revenue that I won't fucking share. So here's the thing. I'm a YouTube partner. I'm going to capitalize off of you, get a shit ton more followers. Perhaps 1 or 2 for each pound my big walrus ass, as you so rudely put it, registers on the scale. And I won't be sharing that with you. I missed a line. And totally use that big walrus ass line in something that I will sell online and make another grand for this year alone, which I won't be sharing with you. Good luck taking me to court, because we both know that would require humiliating yourself in front of the entire world, something I'm guessing you're less comfortable with than I am, as you do not have any videos on your channel, Rod. This complaining-ass pussy is more than happy to give you 15 minutes of fame, even at my expense, if it means making more AdSense money and having a whole new catchphrase for the show that you gave me for free. So no, my big walrus ass is not gonna sit down, because we can both admit I need to lose weight, and I have been working on it. But I still have about $1 more to lose, and I totally had no idea I needed to lose weight before a rude, abusive, bullying asshole spoke up. Can you sense the sarcasm there? That's not part of the response. Where I ask you if it's part of the, if you can sense the sarcasm. I'm going to continue here now. You must think you are so tough, laughing at goats, getting the crap beaten out of them, and trash-talking someone who says fuck you to a comedian you are clearly obsessed with. I visited your YouTube page. If you were really tough, you would walk up to someone my size in any major U.S. city at 3 a.m. and talk to them the way you talk to me. I know it would take you all night, but you can kiss my big walrus ass for all I care, even though I'd then have to wash my ass because your filthy mouth had been on it. What a great concept for a t-shirt, though. Kiss my big walrus ass. I'm going to trademark and license that, then sell it on shirts that I won't share profits with you for. In fact, I'll donate what you think you may be owed on them to an anti-bullying charity. How generous of you! I bet I make another grand this year on those shirts and mugs alone. All because you chose to call me a big walrus ass. I swear you're a marketing genius. But you should probably not give these ideas away to people you are rude to. Just a suggestion. I don't know whether I should say fuck you for being rude to me or thank you, because I'm going to make so much money off of the idea you willingly gave me for free, either via more AdSense revenue by using it as a catchphrase for my web series, at least until I lose the weight and it's no longer applicable, and or printing Kiss My Big Walrus Ass on t-shirts. 2XL and up, of course, to sell for even more money. I'm not sure what you mean by infidel, because the only people I've ever heard use the term infidel are either 1. Terrorists who hate Americans and sometimes crash airplanes into buildings in their spare time, in which case you should also hate Chelo anyway, because he's American too, from Miami, which last I checked is in America. Or 2, people who are so narrow-minded, and I'm going to scroll here a minute, people who are so narrow-minded that the only response they can give to people who disagree with them is to call them names without ever presenting verifiable evidence behind their support for ideas like the alleged hilarity of goat beating. Whatever! Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me, because I'm rubber and you're glue, and every thing you say bounces off of me and sticks to you, bearing in mind any response you make to anything I have said only proves you have nothing better to do with your life than to waste time talking to me if you don't like what I have to say, unless you are at least also smart enough to monetize it into something useful, which I doubt, because you don't even have any videos on here, and you don't appear to be a YouTube partner. But I could be wrong. I don't care. I'm going to pan out a little here. Kiss my big walrus ass. And make sure to thumbs down all my other videos too. I made 2 cents in AdSense revenue in the time it took you to thumbs down me, and 2 more in the time it took you to read this and reply to it. This isn't in the comments, but I also made another 2 cents in the time that it took Rodney to reply to the video that he replied to, because he had to watch the video to reply to it. Way to go, motherfucker. So yeah, you can't bully a bully. And yes, I have the tendency to come off as a bully to people sometimes. So you know what? kiss my big walrus ass if you don't like what I have to say. And in the meantime, because I'm not on terrestrial radio. If you think I'm a complaining ass pussy, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled not to give a flying fuck. I'm entitled to use your words against you that you used to bully myself and other people in a way to make it productive, constructive, and make some AdSense revenue on the side, which I will donate to anti-bullying charities. Because you probably bully kids too. And I really try not to directly. I mean, it's possible that I have online at some point. And if anyone currently under the age of 18 has ever felt bullied by anything I say, please accept my apologies and understand that bullying people under 18 is wrong. Actually, bullying anybody is being an asshole. So here on Uncensored, we're doing public services. Now, I was going to talk about Trump, both things I like and dislike about him at the same time, but you know, Fox News is doing a pretty good job of buttering him up, and Stephen Colbert is doing a pretty bang-up job of making fun of him, as well as the so-called fake news. And I'm just not fake enough to be in the news. Sorry, Mr. President. I mean, I want to pick a side here, but you're just going to have to do your current job and give me a chance to make an informed decision as to whether or not you're going to be a good president or one I make fun of with as you call it, the fake news. Who are we kidding? Trump doesn't watch Uncensored anyway. And I could probably outcuss him on Twitter anyway, even though I feel I've gotten Twitter likes from far more interesting people than he has. Yes, Mr. President, that's totally a challenge. That is totally a challenge. We should compare the Twitter likes you've gotten and the Twitter likes I've gotten. I'm assuming this is public information because you can click on mine and see who's liked my tweets. I've gotten a few quasi-celebrities. Actually, the first person I got a Twitter like from is a celebrity. I shit you not. I don't know if the president can say that. I haven't checked his Twitter to see. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about him for right now, because whether people love him or hate him, and I fall into neither category at the moment. I don't formulate my opinions from the media. I form them by making informed choices. At the moment, he seems like a slightly looser cannon than I do sometimes, but I've seen some things that are kind of interesting, too. He sure doesn't dick around when it comes to getting what he wants, which, I don't know. I don't dick around when it comes to trying to get what I want either, so I can't fault somebody for that. I'm neither defending nor intentionally, consciously pissing on him. I'm just being honest here. But I have run way over for the time I was going to give to this episode, so if you don't like it, viewers, you can kiss this complaining ass pussy's big walrus ass. Holy shit, that's a mouthful of fucking swearing. Good night, fuckers. Peace, love, or hate, and fuck it, I'm out.